Okay, this one went better. This one, I can see the comments. I can see you. It's all good
John Cena. All right, whatever.
now.
Hi, I'm hosting this week. I got a new mug. It says Miranda Writes Night Shift on it. You can buy this if you want. You don't have to, though. But I did.
Yeah, my mug just says reading is sexy, which it is. It's very sexy.
Reading is sexy. It is a very admirable trait.
Well, I'm glad I can do it.
JC coming in with the Eye of Sauron vibes there.
Ooh, yeah. I like it.
Hey, Mare.
I see. Oh, I love it.
Welcome to the party, pal. Okay, goodness. We got you guys back in here. So sorry for the technical difficulty. We're supposed to get those out of the way during our meeting. It's fine.
Okay, I feel like this is a flashback to our meeting.
Welcome, Mata. Okay. Goodness, guys. Welcome back to So You Wanna, the show for writers by writers. If you're new, hey, what's up? Elle and I created this show as a means to reach out to you and connect with you and your friends because we want to build a community of writers. And not only that, but the world really needs more books, and it needs your books specifically. I'm Meg, your dark academia princess, and I'm the clearly tortured soul behind the Miranda Writes trilogy and the espionage thriller Birds and Bullets. On the side, I write very sad, very romantic poetry, and I am happy to share that Wattpad is encouraging these sad, sad poems by putting me on an official reading list called Love Tides. So that's pretty cool. Thanks, guys. And yeah, and that's for the book Shallow. So, okay. If you want to read any of that after that mad sale, it's on Wattpad. And you can just find my link in the bio, or you can search Megan Alexandria on Google, or you could search it on Wattpad. I assure you, I come up.
Wow, okay.
Yeah.
Hey. I'm still Elle, even after 2 weeks away. I'm an Aries, so my moods are strong, but they don't last long, y'all. I'm the author of 2 contemporary romances, Colorglin and For the Love of Art. You can also read my raw and somewhat painful poems in my self-titled book, Elle, A Book of Poetry. You can find all of it in my link tree on my profile. It's all free for ya on Wattpad.
Yeah. Today we are coming at you with mood, which means aesthetics and, vibes and tone. And we've got your questions, we've got your tips, and we got the aesthetic poll results that we put out there, which I'm very disappointed in, but it's fine. It's fine. You're going to have to wait and listen to us talk for the next hour before we get to that. But if you're watching this on YouTube after the initial air date, go ahead and skip ahead and then come back and see our lovely faces again. Huzzah.
All right. Well, talking for an hour. Good luck with my Canadian accent, everybody. Okay, I say it every week, and
I don't know what you're talking about.
Anyway, I say it every week, and I still mean it. Send those screenshots. We love them. Gotta figure out what we're gonna do with them. Meg, how do you feel about a Christmas mug coming your way with just our face all over it?
See, I was envisioning like a creepy wall collage.
Ooh, I hope someone does that one day when we're really famous.
Do you? Is that before or after they murder us?
Well, I live in the middle of nowhere. Good luck finding me.
Well,
Anyway, regardless, just keep them coming. All right, Meg, it is just the two of us again, but please do not sing it this week.
that's hurtful. I have a beautiful singing voice. But do you want to get started?
I suppose so. Okay, I guess it's back to me starting again this week. Let's start a tally maybe of how many weeks I actually go first.
I scratched out.
Oh no! Oh no!
I'm sorry.
Oh man.
I felt like you needed to see that red flag. Okay.
I'm nervous now. No one can know where in Canada I live. This is why. Anyway. Oh no, Craig is singing just the two of us. We started something.
Oh yeah.
No. Okay. All right. Today I'm going to talk about how you're to set the mood in your novel, which is a romance author and low-key smut writer. Oh, that was so awkward. I'm sorry.
It really was. I'm uncomfortable.
I should know how to set the mood. I'm sorry, Meg. I won't ever wink again on this show.
Unrelated, I'm looking for a new partner. Anybody want it?
Oh man. Okay. Let's start by defining what the mood is. Okay. So mood is the emotional atmosphere of your story, and it's created by the author's language. So it's how you would write it. So if you need a refresh on how to use language in writing, we actually did that show last time, so you can check it out on YouTube. Subscribe. That's where all our videos are uploaded to after. You can also check our highlight reels, but I mean, subscribe to YouTube.
To be honest, some of them aren't up. I will do that today.
Oh, in an unrelated side note, looking for a new partner.
Burn! Okay.
Okay, but back to the subject at hand, mood. Okay, so to create mood in your own stories, you need to pay attention to how you describe events. So so whenever I'm talking events, that's like the setting, the way your characters react to things. I always like to use Calorglin as an example, mostly because this is my show, so I can plug myself as much as I want. Anyways, when I wrote Calorglin, I purposefully set the story in what I consider to be a really beautiful city. And
Mata from now on. Mata in a mirror.
Anyway, a very beautiful city. I made sure it was in the summer. And then I moved over to like the bright and beautiful Irish countryside. So I really, in Calorglin, for the majority of the novel, I just wanted to keep things light and happy and just really like an uplifted feeling in the setting around you. But you'll notice that at the Black Moment, which if you remember back to our live is like our romance live is the climax of a romance. I pulled a switch on the setting, and you'll notice that it gets kind of like darker, and you know the seasons change from summer, it goes into like fall and winter, and the language changes a bit too, up until our happily ever after. So anyway, all of this was super purposeful to changing the mood of the story to manipulate, I mean to aid my readers into how they should feel while reading my novel. Anyway, so here are some quick tips on
I'm getting voted off the show in the chat, guys.
Well, you know,
I created this. You can't boot me.
I feel like one day we should do the background of how this came to be, and then people will want to boot me instead of you. Okay, here are some quick tips to help you guys set the mood for your readers. So one, word choice. This is your number one tool in your tool belt. Two authors approaching the same scene might approach it with different words. So think about what you want your readers to feel and make sure that your words come out like based on that. Tone, so think of tone like your tone of voice. So the tone you use, the word you speak, that all contributes to the mood and atmosphere. Setting, just like I pointed out in my Calorglan example, your setting plays an important role in creating the mood in your story. So when you're writing, think about if it's a dark, stormy night or a bright, sunny day and how that will affect the overall mood of your story. And your mood should be describable. So your reader should be able to articulate how the scene makes them feel. There are so many moods that you can pick from. We could literally spend this whole hour naming different moods for your story. I won't put you through that because I know Meg is just sitting here waiting for me to stop talking. What I'm trying to say is that mood is incredibly important to your story, no matter what genre you are writing in. Make sure you focus on it, and remember, if you feel it, your readers are going to feel it. All right. You guys have probably had enough of me. I'll turn things over to my lovely partner, Meg. Take it away.
I guess.
Who's currently being voted off the island?
Yeah, man, fan favorite. It's only going to be my eyes that are scratched out in the wall.
Oh, yeah, the creepy wall. I really
Or
know.
in the collage, it's going to be all you, and my face is just going to have Mata's face, like, over it.
I look forward to when this wall is created. I don't know who's going to make the wall, but, I look forward to the wall when it comes into fruition of our faces. We'll see what happens.
I look forward to my death being quick, man. Like, please don't drag it out.
Just kill us quickly when you do it.
Anyway.
This is a mood that we're creating, isn't it?
I know. Hate to be around with the laughing stocks. Okay. So I really liked the way that you emphasized, how important that tone is and mood and all that. I couldn't have said it better. You always just, talk so much more eloquently as I try to find words literally to string together to make a coherent sentence.
That is so nice of you to say, because I always feel like I am not that articulate of a person. So thank you.
Well, you set me up perfectly to expand on like vibe and all that. And so I just want to reiterate, you guys are going to hear me say this so much, but
new drinking game. What's the new drinking game?
The words you choose are important.
That's the line, everybody.
Once again, everything I write is very Chekhov's gun. It's very important. It's very, done on purpose. So, I very much subscribe to the thought of you can influence a mood or a genre or anything by picking specific words.
Hey, Basil.
Yeah, hi. So, they don't only determine what type of setting and genre that your book's taking place in, but they establish you as a writer. If you've ever queried, Jesus, if you ever written to a literary agent or a publisher, sometimes they'll ask you to liken yourself to the writing style of another author. And, that feels weird because you're like, oh, no, I'm unique and all that. But what they're kind of doing, I think, is gathering information about your target audience. So, your brand and your vibe and your voice. So if you do it well, you can, write a period drama and you can write a, dark romance.
I'm so sorry.
I saw that comment. And, it'll look like it'll read like the same person wrote it without actually I guess, being the same. I know. Guys, please don't come at me, okay?
Christ on a dildo, get it together, Meg.
I know, I saw it. So, if your book is told from the eyes of a witty, dark-humored anti-hero or the ray of pure sunshine optimist who suits naive, it's pretty much gonna set the course for that. A couple things I do which really sound weird saying out loud, but since this is a tip show and this is a community, I shall expose my belly to you guys. Not really, that sounded weird. I'm sorry. Anyway,
belly to us.
It's like a phrase where like that's like you're vulnerable.
No, I know what it is, but
I hate you. One, I determine what the atmosphere I'm going for is. And then I make a list of all the words that come to mind just based on that. Like forgetting about story, forgetting about, you know, character arcs and everything. I think of all the words that I could possibly cram or ever use that relate to that vibe. So Miranda Writes, for example, is a pseudo-gothic police story. So I wrote down things like Miranda Writes, Rights, and then I ended up changing it to the magical Rites because she's a witch. Haha. Anyway, and then words like dark, brutal, vulgar, hateful, brooding, mystery, foggy, deep, night, night shift, rain, neon, night like gun, death, etc., etc. I won't go on. But literally, I just wrote down everything that came to mind until I had nothing else. And from there, since I'm a first-person writer, you can go and you can write down the vibe and the words you want people to like inherently gather from your main character or your narrator. Like sarcastic, realistic, sweet, traumatized, neutral, or even romantic. And then you just basically do that for the character as well and the story and whatever. So it sounds psychotic. And right now I just imagine like a big conspiracy board behind me with a bunch of strings and, you know, the Charlie Day and the, you know, but yeah, that's
love
basically
that
the
meme.
writing process. Did you say what's that mean or love that?
I said I love that meme. It's my favorite one. Whenever I'm sending you like my writing ideas, that's like what I want to send you all the time. I always want to like vomit my ideas on you and then send that GIF because that's pretty much where my head is at when I'm talking about my writing.
Bird law. Okay, so 2, I consider the genre. And it really does help to, I know people are tired of hearing, if you want to be a good writer, read. But it really does help to read other books in your, you know, kind of wheelhouse there, especially when you're in the drafting process. Because, I mean, you can see what's been done, but you can also see what you like and don't like about them. And then you can mold them into your own voice by adding or taking away from those factors. And, you know, kind of like break the mold and whatever. I think it's a really, really good thing to do. So I read a lot. For instance, so right now I have 2 romanticises, which is obviously a romance fantasy. The Miranda Writes, and then my current work in progress, which is kind of like a pseudo fantasy. But anyway, the Ostler Boy. And I would tell you that the writing style is vastly different between the 2 of them for 2 reasons. One setting, Miranda Writes, is modern, and Ostler is medieval, and 2, the characters. So Miranda is crass and closed off, and Savannah is not horrifically exposed to the same truths of the world as Miranda is. So she comes off sweeter, and like I said before, I think you can tell it's written by the same person, but the aesthetic and the mood and everything is different because, you know, we broke it down and looked at it. And I say we because, like, going back to that conspiracy string meme, that's literally what Elle and I do. We go, back and forth going, hey, does this sound coherent? Cool, I'm going to run with it. And, you know, it's great. Find yourself a writing friend. So, to sum up what I said, because that was too long, didn't read, stay true to your voice, but adapt. Be able to be flexible and know the story ahead of time, but you don't have to know all the story ahead of time, but having a plan of what you want your readers to know and feel is really going to be what, you know, sets you apart and helps you. So we are actually doing something.
First, before I do that, a question came through. Basil had a question. It was, is mood different than emotion? So I just want to quickly answer that.
Yeah.
So mood is actually the emotion in your story. So it's the emotion that you create when you're writing. So
that is Remington, my cat. I'm so sorry, guys. He wants in this office so bad. There's like this. It's a full, obviously the light is there. The whole wall here is like a window. And so he wants in here so he can sit there, but he can't because he will knock my tea over and destroy everything. So.
Destroy the aesthetic that you've created?
Yes. Sorry, please go on.
All right. Anyway, that's the answer to the question. I hope that answered it. If it doesn't, then just drop something in the comments if I didn't answer that.
Yeah. And for sure, you guys, we had several questions and comments this week. But if you think of something while we are rambling on, for the love of God, drop it here and we will address it. Not me, because apparently I'm scrolling past chat today, but
okay, I'm writing. I'm the note taker today. That's weird. Okay. Anyway, as Meg was saying,
just about something else.
Oh, okay.
I'm working on Ostler's Boy as we're doing this. I'm so sorry.
Okay.
All right. I'll go get Remington. Hang tight.
Oh gosh, here we go. I'm just gonna keep going.
Yeah.
So we're doing something a little different today. We are going to do some excerpts of our own stories that we feel kind of help show the mood that we try to create in the story. I like how this show has divulged into a cat show. I do not have a cat to show you guys. I have a dog, but she is, I don't know where. She's a little...
Remy, look at the camera for me.
Hey, Rim.
Look
show
at
us your belly.
Okay. Well, he's in here. Okay. He's very fat. Please don't come at me.
Anyway, so we're going to do some excerpts. I guess, again, I'm starting because this is what I do. Anyone start that tally of how many times I start things? All right, so I have two books. I have Colorglin and For the Love of Art. I'm going to start with Colorglin, which is kind of a very sweet, simple romance, very much by the book. No one cares about my work now because everyone's into Remy, so.
Oh, stop it. You jealous hag.
Oh, you jealous. Seriously, you guys, new partner, looking for one. Include the dog, too. I don't know where my dog is, you guys. I don't know where she is. She's somewhere in my place. Okay, so I have a short excerpt.
I'm ready to hear your story.
Good. Do you need a blanket?
No.
So I have a short excerpt from Colorglin. I wanted to share it because I think the way that you write your setting can really help create the mood. Mm-hmm. So, all right, here we go. Cancer. I repeated the word back into the receiver. A response was not reciprocated. The line was silent. The only sound was the hard rain hitting the pavement outside the door of the dental office reception and the rhythmic whoosh of lunch hour Seattle traffic whipping through the puddles on the road. The lights were out and the office was empty except for me. Everyone had scurried off excitedly to their lunch plans. I should have been eating my soup that was now getting cold in front of me on the large wooden desk, but I felt sick. Trevor? I whispered to see if he was still there. Yeah, that's what I said. His voice was low and solemn. So in that excerpt, I tried to make the setting really like dim and dark. So we have like the gross weather, the lights are off, it's dim. It's all meant to kind of reflect Laurel's inner feeling. Laurel is the main character. For anyone who is awful and has not read my book, you all should have. Um, so in your writing, you can think about how the world around them can help you create a mood. My second book is For the Love of Art. So I have a lot of fun writing this novel. I mean, for it to kind of be fast-paced and like quick-witted and stuff like that. And I did that to help kind of reflect my thought, like my view of New York, which is a very fast pace. And it's also just really full of a lot of diverse people, which is a juxtaposition to like small towns where you know, you don't always see as many dramatic different characters. Not to say that in cities there's a ton, but there's a difference between small towns and big cities.
Wow, really?
Really. All right, here we go. The bell chimed again, and my body tensed as I looked over. A wave of relief washed over me when I saw the bright red plastic glasses that covered deep brown eyes and beautifully juxtaposed the flawless earth tone skin of Leanne. Hey girl, she said as she grabbed her luxurious curls and pulled them up into a bun on top of her head. Be glad you're late, I threw an apron at her. I just heard way too much about someone's sex life, and it's not even 9. You poor thing, Leanne gave me a sympathetic look. Well, I'm here now. Why are you so late? I asked as I ripped the sheet out of my notepad. I was with Colby last night, Leanne grinned widely. Again? I looked at her quizzically. I thought you said he was boring. In general, yes, Leanne agreed with me, but in bed, definitely not. Oh God, I need a coffee. I rubbed my temples. A second sex story in less than 15 minutes felt like more than I could handle. However, I knew Leanne too well to think she wasn't about to overshare with me. He is amazing, Leanne leaned against a beam, a dreamy look in her eyes. I mean, he knows what he is doing. Okay, good talk. I scurried past her, grabbing a few items to stock the front of the store with. He knows exactly where to touch and how to move. Leanne clutched her chest as she batted her eyelashes. Oh, Isla, I think you could use a turn with him. If I had eaten breakfast, I might have vomited just then. There is one thing, though, Leanne said. Oh, God, oh, God, oh, God. He keeps putting his finger in my ass. I finally had to tell him that if he didn't take it out, I was going to break it off and any other part of him that looked like it. Leanne put her hands on her hips. I did not need to know that. I shook my head, trying to keep the stomach bile down. I turned my back to her in an attempt to end the conversation. Why do guys do that? I mean, what is it about the ass that is so appealing? Leanne sounded frustrated. Oh, please let this end. Because the ass feels great. Frankie came strolling out of his office. So in that excerpt, I was trying to use like their conversation to kind of set a mood of like that jovial feeling and that ability to be completely open with your very best of friends. For the love of art in general, which again, you all should read it, obviously. I mean, that excerpt, right? It's supposed to be like, again, like a fun read. I like how Basil said what. Yes, there is talk of anal sex in there. Yeah, I just lost my train of thought there. But anyway, it's supposed to be a very uplifted mood throughout like most of the novel. And I really use a lot of interactions with kind of vibrant and interesting characters to help me set that mood in this book. Whereas in Calorglan, I used a lot of like the setting and a lot of the world around her to really help set the mood. All right, that's enough of me again, Meg. Why don't you show us your stuff?
So not to like totally nerd out on you guys, but I was sitting here trying to follow the chat, being a little bit better, and you know, Basil said Raining was good because it's grim and shows, you know, stuff falling apart.
Thank you.
So kind of going what we're talking about here, rain doesn't always have to be, you know, bad or things are grim and nasty and whatever. If you guys have ever seen like, and I pull in screenwriting to this too, because as I've said before, I have a film background, so I'm going to reference movies a lot, as well as books. But and Shawshank Redemption. The point is, okay, In the Shawshank Redemption, the visual there, like when he gets out of the tunnel or whatever, the rain is coming down and, you know, it's storming and everything, but it's really more of like an emotional release and things are being washed clean and, you know, it's like freedom and whatever. So I feel like your words and the way that you write a scene and, you know, the emotion that you charge into a scene is really gonna like push past the physical there, which is why this is such an important tool. Anyway, that's all I had to say about that. I just wanted to nerd out because, you know, I like to have these types of conversations.
She's talking about Shawshank Redemption.
Yes, Shawshank Redemption, which, if anybody doesn't know the story, he goes to prison and then he escapes prison. So, but I'm not gonna spoil anything. Whatever. So, yeah. I'll go into mine, I guess, because I don't like to do this, but you know. Traditionally, I am kind of a recluse. But one of the things that So You Wanna is supposed to do for just, you know, Elle and I here is push us out of our comfort zones. And so, you know, we're doing the excerpts, and tonight's show, it's really like exposing because, you know, we can come up here and say, you know, oh, we're so great, ha ha ha. But if you don't go and read our shit, then you don't know if we are or not. And you basically have to believe what we say. By reading it on the air, you guys have a chance to see, you know, like they're not great, you know, I don't know.
Are you saying that my writing's not great?
I'm saying my writing's not great.
Your writing's amazing, girl. Don't sell yourself short.
Pisces rant. Get out of the way. Anyway, no, but this is a community, and you know this is important for tonight's show. So, again, too long didn't read. I'm a recluse. I don't like to share. I've not acted or voice acted in a very long time because as I get older, I get more and more introverted. But yet here we are. So
that's the woman who sends me like 20 voice notes with her story in it. Okay, I love you.
We're friends. You're in the inner circle. Okay, guys. Oh, they don't want to hear about our friendship.
Everyone wants to hear about our friendship.
Yeah. So, remember, the Miranda Rights is the type of novel where you have things thrown at you that are a bit of a twist. It's a little bit of a mystery because it's a cop drama, right? So it's actually a little difficult for me to find a lot of stuff in the novel that I felt weren't like in your face spoilers or weren't like introducing characters that were vital or whatever. So bear with me. These are going to be shorter, but I'm just trying to give you like a good idea of aesthetic and why I chose the words that I chose, right? So I'm going to give you two. One is the introduction of a couple characters here, and then the other one is a dream sequence. And so I'm just showing you those two because they're written in different ways to try to like show the main character in different lights, like who she is in her subconscious and, you know, who she is in her waking life. So again, the trilogy is crass and grungy. The main character is a cop, but the setting and she's kind of like abrasive in that sense, but this setting is in Memphis, Tennessee, so there kind of has to be a balance between the easy southern ambience and, you know, Miranda. Okay. Sorry, guys. I'll actually read now. Ugh. For its ideal location, butting up against the Mississippi and a small forest, Jake's failed to provide the tourist trap you'd expect so close to the Strip. Instead, you'd get what could only be described as a dive, and in it, a skinny blonde bartender cleaning glasses, a soul billiards player with a fresh undercut, and a dusty old piano that sat just beyond them both. Given the age and color of the instrument, I figured it hadn't been played since it was purchased off the floor in a moment in time. An outdated Western tune quietly filled the space from the speakers, but the rest of the place was a fucking ghost town. Closed, the blonde said. Sorry, the door was open. I pointed behind me and hooked a thumb into the loop of my pants. Ain't supposed to be, he added. All right, so when are you open? I let my eyes wander the room. From where I stood, I could see there was an additional space behind the bar. I leaned forward as much as I could before he narrowed his eyes. Not now. I made an irritated noise and a low, thick drawl, definitely not native to Tennessee, chimed from the pool table's inhabitant. Oren. Its owner sent a powerful shot, cracking the resin out of its perfect triangle. Get the gal a drink. He stood, pleased with his break, and wrapped two large, brutal hands around the cue, mounting it into the floor. I noticed how tall he was, even from the door. A grand posture fixed him larger than life in spite of his casual dress. A long-sleeved shirt, slacks, and again his hair were all throwing serious rebel without a cause vibes. He looked a few years my senior, 35 or 36, and I was appalled by how attractive I found him. So, I tried to keep things, kind of vulgar and, harsh. But then I used like the dialect in here where, you're dropping the G's on everything to try to make it feel more.
Southern?
What?
Southern?
Yeah, Southern. I was going to say country, but yeah. And then, so that is Miranda, like when she's awake and she's thinking to people, talking to people, and she kind of has like this mask that she wears, which she got from law enforcement, where she just kind of has to be on all the time. And then the second one is much shorter, I promise you. It's a dream sequence, but I'm sharing it because it's written differently, and it's supposed to feel like a distant place or moment in time for the reader. And this is a book that uses like magic and tarot and dreams. They're all very important. So, okay. The beams of moonlight I stood in split through the forest canopy, and a long breeze twisted through my hair. The woods were alive with crickets, frogs, and various nocturnal sounds. Somewhere close, a river, gentle and slow. The current grew fiercer the further I wandered away from Bishop's house, and grass and mud alike slid between my toes. Beyond the thickest trees, I came to where the water had hidden itself and stepped into the stream. My eyes were closed. Snakes swam across the bridges of my feet. They climbed my legs, and each creature sent its own chill down my spine. Then laughter, mad, chaotic laughter, broke out from everywhere around me. My breath staggered, tense, competing with the voice as I spun around and around, searching for its host. And finally, silence. And then a door, attached to nothing, sitting on the bank. I waded through the current, out the other side, and reached for its handle, black and covered in dead vines, forgotten flowers, and crying. Someone was crying. It woken me up, and at first I thought it could have been my own. So that's the scene. And so she's not, like, when I do these dream sequences and I do like the internal when she's in her own, my hope is that, you see a softer side to Miranda, and, you see that she's really not who she lets people think she is. So yeah, and I wanted that to be more magical, and I wanted to just feel kind of like off, like you feel when you're dreaming. So yeah. Osler, I hate you. Hi everybody, new people. You mentioned most of the senses, visual, sound, etc. Southern vibe. Yeah. So Oh, wow, Meg, you really need to do audiobooks. Thank you so much. Not to be that person, but I actually have a condenser mic here because I do gaming on Twitch sometimes. I used to. I really don't anymore. But, and then, you know, I also, guys, I sing and play the ukulele. So, I mean, maybe one day. I appreciate that.
Maybe one day you're going to do it for us?
Sure, why not?
On our get to know you
yeah,
one.
on our get to know you. We're gonna have a get to know you night. Yeah, I'll play the ukulele for you.
Ooh.
You guys can even pick it. I have 6 of them. I have a problem. Okay. So because we have time, and I promised I would if we had time, and I just broke my pen. I'm nervous. And because Elle bullied me into this.
You're welcome, you guys.
I will read a little clip from my upcoming period romance, which is going to fit right into next week's show. Wink, wink, hint, hint.
Oh, I just did the awkward wink again. I'm so sorry. I said
it wouldn't. So much worse. Okay. And I just want to preface this without giving away too much. So, again, I'm a recluse. But the Oscars boy is coming along. I'm probably about 50,000 words in. I expect to be finished with it in the first draft in a month or so, knock on wood. And, you know, I have some art coming for it and like all sorts of things. So I'm excited to share it with you, which is why I feel okay doing this. But please remember that this is still in the drafting process. So do not be too horrible on me. I hate sharing things with people. Okay. The mood is the classic, oh, forbidden love is in the air, but I am but a naive princess. I know. I hate myself. Okay.
I loved every minute of that.
Yeah. The 4 of us were wasted, our breathing difficult, as we slowed to a stop near an open field. It was surrounded by an army of large oak trees and seemed to be the only safe haven for the roses in this nation. I smiled as I came into view, sparsely decorated around the grass and under the crescent moon. Moon, that word with moon. Cyrus dismounted his horse and held his hand out for mine. "Princess," he said, "let's let them rest a moment, you think?" I could tell he was equally winded from the excitement of the race as I, though he wore it better. And that made me feel strange about being alone with him out here, gasping. Still, I took his offer, and I tried to slide from tails with grace, but instead the horrid weight of my ball gown forced me towards him in a hurling mess of fabric. Soon I was on top of him, and he was laid out flat into the grass. He stared oddly at the position that we found ourselves in, and I blushed as I realized his hands had caught me at the hips. I hurried to find my feet, brushing the dress free of an invisible, obscene amount of dirt, unable to meet his eyes. Cyrus muttered something as I forgot to help him up, and I bit my lip out of distress. "I'm sorry," I managed. "Ridiculous." "That is a heavy dress," he remarked. "It was very expensive," I said. For what reason, I don't know. So yeah, the protagonist is a princess, and she's naive, and she's in this new country where she's, you know, gonna marry someone and whatever. So she's, yeah, you know, she's not privy to the world, and yep, that's what I have.
I just want to point out there's a nice comment here. It says, "Your excerpts reminded me," sorry, it's by Basil. "Your excerpts reminded me of a Tina," I'm going to totally mess this up, but I think it's like Diso. Diso. Anyway, let's get lost. It's so sensual. She creates such a wonderful mood with her words as well. That's super nice.
Thank you very much. I really appreciate that, and that makes my fragile Pisces ego feel better. I'm writing her name down. I'm gonna look that up.
Stroke it a little. Stroke that ego.
Yeah. No, thank you so much. I appreciate that. Yeah. So anyway, it's completely different than Miranda. Miranda is brutal and abrasive and stuff, and I'm trying to write with Osler's here a more romantic and, you know, soft. Yeah, it's still pretty fucked up, guys. I'm not gonna lie to you. Do not open my book thinking that this is gonna be a happy story. It's very sad, but we're gonna have a good time. Okay.
I've seen behind the curtain of this book.
As
So
promised. What?
I said, yeah, I've seen behind the curtain of this book, so I will not comment. But
Okay. So as promised, the results are in, and we actually did a poll on Elle's, and we did one on mine, and a couple times you guys have said you wanted to share them to your stories. So if you do, absolutely yes, we're good with that. Hit me up.
yeah, just let us know and we'll
it
send
to
it.
you so you can have the original ad or whatever. You know. But yeah, you guys, my followers, guys, I am a dark romance writer. I'm concerned. You all picked cottagecore. That was like, that's what won. I'm like, yeah, that's cute, but like, dark academia is clearly the best. So, you know, respectfully disagree. Elle?
Okay, so this is where it gets weird because on my side, everyone picked dark academia. Like,
Yes.
why are you weirdos into darkness? Like, why are you following me, the contemporary romance queen? I'm kidding. Please keep reading my work and love me. What?
I've got a skeleton painting in this room. And another one I haven't hung them yet. You guys see my gallery wall here soon, I promise. But another one, his head is exploding. And it's like, you know, vines and stuff.
Why did you get cottage and I got dark? Like,
I don't know. I know that I have peony.
My book is like bright and colorful. What is this?
I found it at the grocery, no less. And yes, I bought myself flowers, so, you know, whatever.
Oh, I bought myself flowers this week, too.
I know this is like
not in
the
here,
vibe here, but if you look past, you'll see, you know, Eddie with all his tattoos and
I see the incorrect date.
There. Oh yeah, I didn't change the date, did I? Well, we're just gonna put Eddie over him. Eddie! He fell. Oh my god. It doesn't matter. It's mirrored anyway. Questions. Are you ready? Guys, drop more questions if you have them.
Okay, let's get going. How do I write melancholy? I think further poll is required for further investigation of the audience. We don't care about Eddie. Oh, God.
Okay, first off, you cannot come at Eddie. You have not read the reboot. So,
you know what, Mana?
You still hate him.
I am going to defend Eddie now till the end of my days. He's a great character.
I love Eddie.
Her newest book.
Bad impression, but I swear he's good. And
he's really good. I like him a lot.
Were made by somebody who's actually in the chat. Mayor. Where did he go? Oh, I found him. Okay. Sorry. I'm back.
I will hate him forever.
Questions. Okay.
Okay, how do I write
melancholy? Okay, so inside you should find this like sad pit. Everybody has that, right? No? Is that just me? Swallow it. Come on, let's go. We got a show to do, Elle. This is unprofessional.
I just about choked, you guys. I snorted. I'm dying here. Okay. Whoa, okay, so we're finding a dark, sad pit inside ourselves. Please keep going.
And then just let people see it.
Oh my god. stomach hurts.
Question number 2. We got time here. I'm sorry. I can go in melancholy all day.
Okay, is it okay to have sadness?
I'm sorry, I broke the chat.
You broke your partner.
Okay, is it okay to have sadness in romance? See how I'm keeping it cool? That's because I'm in control of the sad pit. You guys aren't. Okay. Yes, it's absolutely okay to be sad in romance. I think that it kind of robs it from your reader if you make it so easy, you know?
Yeah, in romance writing, again, you can go and you can check out our romance live. You never want to give the romance too easy to your readers. In real life, romance isn't easy. In your book, it shouldn't be easy either. So absolutely, you can have sadness in romance. What are all our favorite techniques for quickly establishing the atmosphere of a scene? Me, I like using, well, words, yeah, so that's obvious, we're all authors. But,
Yes,
my favorite is always normally like the setting. I like to use the setting to create mood, and I also like to use my characters' interactions with each other to set the mood and the tone and stuff.
Yeah.
That's my favorite.
Yeah. I like themed words. I talked about it a little bit when I was talking about like birds and bullets. But you know, also with like Miranda rights and whatever. I like to use words that, you know, bring up a certain emotion. I'm a poet, guys. Okay. Gosh. Sorry. Okay. But if you could write...
No, you missed one. You missed what's your favorite tone / atmosphere to write in your stories?
Oh. Sad.
You know what? I'm as a romance writer, obviously kind of uplifted, happy kind of vibes, romantic vibes are normally the tone or atmosphere, although I am working on a series, and in that series I am planning to dive a little bit into darker romance writing. Meg's seen behind the curtain a bit on that series, so yeah.
The chat is really coming at me. You're laughing, but the light inside is dying. Chat, stop working. And not to be that person, but the point is bird words. Yep.
Bird is the word.
Okay. So I want to say favorite tone or atmosphere. I'm also a romance writer. Yeah, I like writing the sad. But I think my favorite is, you guys know that feeling when you are talking to someone who just excites you and just, you know, like they're just that person. They're just the one, you know. I like that spark and I like to express that. That is the best feeling in the world, and that is very hard to actually find words to do. So it's almost like a challenge. That would be like my favorite. But yeah, I mean, I could write sad shit all day, but you know, like the happy and the, you know, the fluttering, that's different. Okay, sorry. If you could write any mood or vibe, what would you pick and why? I think we kind of answered that just now a little bit. But I also kind of want to write like a broody emo vampire, you know, like, I don't know.
I really want to write like I kind of want to write like a sad story, almost like I want to do a story of like someone like rising. Yeah. Friendship's getting to be too much. No, I've always really admired authors who can take a really sad subject, and I don't know, like put a twist or a spin on it that kind of makes it, like hopeful.
Yeah.
And, you know, like I've always kind of wanted to be able to do that. So I feel like if I could write any kind of mood or vibe, I feel like that would be it.
Yeah.
But, you know, I feel like I'd have to step away from romance to do that, and I'm not sure I'm ready for it yet.
So this one came in. It says, how do I make my poetry hurt people like yours? Well, first off, thank you. But it's secondly, and seriously, my best and only advice for this is pick your words based on a raw honesty, and not just like the rhyme or the couplet that it fits. So sometimes you can really demonstrate the feeling behind a poem by breaking that rhyme on purpose, especially if you're a rhymer like I am. But like, so kind of like an example in the real world here is that Bruce Lee used to do 1-inch and 6-inch punches just to demonstrate that it was more about technique and momentum than strength and brutality. So just be honest, and then, go back to, just like the basics. So,
which is what you told me whenever I wrote poetry. It was like, just be honest. And like the last batch that I released,
so easy to trick you into writing poetry. I'm so glad that you did.
Well, the last batch I released, I remember I was telling Meg, I said, I think that this is going to be too much. And she was like, nope. She's like, if it's honest, it'll be fine. She actually never gave me her thoughts on the poems, but I'm going to assume not that they weren't horrid.
They were great. No, honestly, I feel like I'm just stroking your ego tonight. No, your poetry is very honest, and it's very brutal, and, is really great. It's a book that I would buy and put on my shelf. And I just want to point out, in my sad, pathetic bookshelves over here, I do collect poetry, by the way. I have a Spanish book of poetry. I have a German book of poetry. I have an English book of poetry. And I think I have one more in storage. So I don't actually buy a lot of poetry. I love poetry, but I don't buy a lot. And I would buy yours. So I don't know why I was cutting my flowers there. So anyway,
all right, we have one last question in the comments, and then we're gonna have to wrap this up. So it's from Basil. Question: so does your own mood affect the mood you write? If so, how do you then ensure your mood matches the mood you want to spark? So
yes,
I feel like, yeah, sometimes my mood can seep into my writing, and that's why I always recommend having a writing buddy, because like because I find sometimes it helps me to say, like, give Meg a passage of my book, and like without any context, I just say, read this to her, and then I was like, and tell me what you feel. Yeah. And then she'll come back to me and say that. So that's kind of how I make sure that, like, I'm having a bad day or something, but I want to get in some writing, because that is something that I try to do every day, is write.
Beta readers.
Then I know that, my mood isn't affecting it, because sometimes I think your mood can affect your writing. Like, something that maybe you wanted to be happy sounds sad because you got bad news that day or something.
It absolutely actually does. And so like it's not writing, but I write music. And the other day I was writing a string quartet thing, and I wanted it to be this happy, oh my gosh, the birds are singing, love, whatever. And I was having an off day, and I actually tapped into my grief about losing my father last year, and it just became this very dark piece, and I couldn't get out of that. And so, while I like that piece or whatever, I think that happens with writing too. So like, if that's not what your goal is, I do think it's healthy, and I do think it's good that you need to do it. But if that's not what your goal, then you need to have discipline in place where you can reset yourself. Whether that's you need to walk away, or you need to call a friend, or you need to, send it to your buddy and say, does this sound like I need therapy? Okay,
I never ever say it like that, just so people know.
Yeah, so if you want to expand on that, you can hit us up in the DMs. We are running out of time. One last question, but advice, use all the senses in a scene. So yeah.
Just like sex, you guys. Use all those senses. All right, well, you know what? I gotta deliver the bad news today. I started, so I guess I gotta wrap it up too. Our hour is up. We're actually over our hour, so you're welcome, everyone.
Sorry.
But yeah, I'm super sorry. And since I've already delivered some sad news, I'm gonna dish out a little bit more. You guys, we won't be back next week on Sunday, July 4th. We are both unfortunately going to be busy celebrating our respective countries next week, so we will not be here with you.
America. Okay, yeah. So just like last time, please stop crying. It's weird. I'm uncomfortable with emotion. Um, but we will be back July 11th. And as I hinted at before, we are going to be taking on period and historical drama.
I'm so excited. This is my favorite genre, you guys. I know it's weird because I'm a romance writer, but I do love a good period and historical
Yes,
drama.
we know about Outlander. Jeez.
Okay, anyway, you guys, same time, same place. And if you miss us over these next 2 weeks, there's a few things you can do. You can subscribe to our YouTube channel and rewatch our videos where you can see our beautiful faces. You can order a mug from Meg if you would like to think about her while she's away. You can slide into our DMs anytime you want to talk writing, or if you just want to chat for fun. We are absolutely building a community, so we are beyond happy to talk to you guys, to answer your questions, and to generally be your friends. So yeah, that's a few things you can do while we're gone these next 2 weeks.
Sounds great. Thank you to all the familiar faces that we're seeing tonight. It's so good to see your guys' name pop up, and I really feel like you guys have been talking to me, and we've been joking, and you've been seeing the screenshots and stuff, and I'm really glad to have that. I know I joke about being
so wonderful,
but I love discussing writing and just trading memes. And if you just want to, Craig's in this chat for a while. Craig and I just sent gifts back and forth for like months at a time.
Oh my gosh, that sounds wonderful. Craig, slide into my DMs. I love a good gift war.
Yeah. So, also, if you guys know any comedy writers, we're still looking, so hit us up on that. So
definitely. All right, so remember, we want to see you guys here Sunday, July 11th, 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time to talk about period and historical drama. Bye-bye.